Today we are going to look at writing under the mechanics of writing prefixes and suffixes. Before we begin this particular lesson, it is good that we do a recap of our previous lesson. That as we learned earlier, that we have words here in these flashcards. The words incomplete, invalid, invisible, discomfort, disobey, disconnect, successful, careful, playful, jobless, fearless, and harmless. We learned that these words are referred to as affixes. They are added at the beginning or at the end of the word to change its meaning. The word to which an affix is added is called the root word. There are two main affixes. Those are prefixes and suffixes. So as you can see, in the first flashcard, we have the words incomplete, invalid, and invisible. All these words begin with in, and in is the prefix. And the root words include complete, valid, and visible. And the new words that are formed, they are called indefinite words. The root words are called definite words. So the prefix in, according to the first flashcard, the prefix in means not. Therefore, the word indefinite means not definite. So that brings us to the opposite. It means that incomplete is the opposite of complete. Invalid is the opposite of valid. Invisible is the opposite of visible or not visible. When we also look at suffixes, they are letters added at the end of the root word. For example, if the root word is leak, according to this table, the suffix age is added. Then the new word will be leakage. In the words that we have the list provided, learners are expected to do it in groups, to copy the words in the table, take turns to talk about how each prefix alters the meaning of the root word. We have the prefixes given, and we have the examples as shown in this particular table. That's the prefix dis forms the words like disappear, disarrange, and disagree, among others. So the learners are supposed to copy these words in the table, take turns to talk about how each prefix alters the meaning of the root word. I will give an example. For example, the word disappear, the root word is appear because the prefix dis has been added, which means the meaning of the root word has been altered. How has it been altered? The meaning of the root word appear has been altered, and now it means something different. To disappear means the opposite of appear. We have other words like in is another prefix. It forms the words insecure, infamous, inhuman. Ill is another prefix which forms the words illegal, illegitimate, illogical. Miss is another word, another prefix that forms new words: misjudge, misplace, mistrust. An is another prefix which forms other new words such as uncommon, uncertain, undecided. Im is another one which forms impatient, impartial, and impossible. Non also forms non-existent, non-formal, and non-toxic. All these words learners are supposed to discuss in groups so that they can come up with ways in which these words, these prefixes, alter the meanings of all these words. In conclusion, it is true that most of these words form the opposites of the original words. As we continue, learners are also expected to do another activity in pairs. They are expected to write more words with the prefixes in the table above. In this particular table, apart from the words given, learners are expected to write more words with the prefixes. For example, the words like, if I talk of the word important, the word important, if I add a prefix, like I add an, it will be an important, among others. Learners are expected to write sentences with the words written in A above. The words that they are going to come up with in activity A, they are supposed to write their own sentences using the words. Another one is that learners can also use online sources to search words with these suffixes. ISM, the one which ends with ISM, or ism, sheep, less, and full. They can search words from the internet which end with the following suffixes. These are suffixes. So like parallelism, internship, powerless, words like beautiful, among others. So it's the work of the learners to also find those words from the internet. Then we have another activity that after finding the words from the internet, learners will draw this particular table and write those words. For example, optimism, among others. This is the table that learners will be able to use so that they will be able to write the words that they search in the internet. Another activity is that they will be able to write 4 sentences with the words from the above table. From this particular table, they will be able to write sentences. And in groups, learners will discuss the meanings of the underlined words in the sentences below. The first sentence is, respect the opinions of your workmates even if you disagree with them. So the word is disagree. They are supposed to write the meanings of these words. To disagree is to fail to be part of an agreement made, or to reject a proposal in a group, or to not to agree. It is the opposite of agree. Another one is, Sonia misunderstood what the manager had said. So the learners are supposed to give the meaning of misunderstood and as I understand, misunderstood is the opposite of understood. It is failure to understand or lack of understanding. Give me a few minutes to rewrite my curriculum vitae. Rewrite is to write again. The gatekeeper got a non-verbal warning for deserting his duty. Non-verbal warning. That is a written warning. Non-verbal is the opposite of verbal, and verbal warning is an oral warning, a warning which does not involve writing, but non-verbal means that it's a written warning. Since we are all imperfect, we should willingly pardon others whenever they offend us. So learners are also expected to write the meaning of imperfect. Another one is that the accountant lost his job because he appeared incompetent. Learners are expected to write the meaning of the word incompetent because it is the underlined word in that given sentence. I think incompetent is the opposite of competent. When somebody is incompetent, that person lacks skills in a given field. The senator addressed the cases of unemployment in the country. Unemployment is the opposite of employment. Lack of jobs. Unemployment is a lack of jobs. Why does the institution hold irregular meetings for the workers? Irregular is the opposite of regular, and its meaning is clear, as learners should search and write it. Regardless of the root word to which they are attached, prefixes always have the same meaning. For instance, the prefix re always means to do something again. Examples: reread means to read again. Rebuild means to build again. More examples of prefixes and their uses are presented in the table below, and they can be seen. We have prefix anti, which means against, for example, anti-war and anti-social. Auto is another prefix which means of or by oneself. For example, you can talk of autopilot and or autograph. Bi means two or twice, like we can talk of bilingual, biannual, among others. Ex means former, like ex-president and ex-member. Ex could also mean out of. Examples, we have exhale and extract. Micro means small. Example of words, we have microscopic, microcomputer. Miss means badly or wrongly. For example, misunderstood or misunderstand, and misinform. Mono means one or single. For example, monotonous and monogamous. Multi means many. For example, multipurpose and multicultural. Over means too much. For example, overdue and oversleep. Post means after. For example, post-war and post-government. Pro means in favor of. For example, pro-type and pro-government. Yes. So learners are expected to take turns to read the following passage with their classmates. They will read and pick out words with the following prefixes and suffixes. that is tion, ed, li, meant, able, in, im, or an. So this is the passage that learners are expected to read and find the suffixes, the prefixes and suffixes that I have mentioned. The passage goes this way. Upon completion of his university education, Felix had hoped to get a job immediately. He had graduated with a second-class upper degree in computer science. A few days after his graduation, he submitted letters of application in companies and waited patiently to get a response. However, all his efforts were in vain. After a long wait, he became impatient and opted to make a visit to different other companies and organizations in which he thought he could secure employment. Sadly, none of the places he visited had a job for him. They claimed he was inexperienced, could not be hired until he had got some work experience. He grew hopeless. He thought life was unfair to him. He wondered when he would secure a job and live the life he dreamt. What was the essence of education yet? There were many cases of unemployment in the country. He was heard questioning on several occasions. The optimism that he once had at the time of his graduation had vanished into the thin air. Nevertheless, Felix made a decision that he could never despair. He teamed up with two of his former classmates who had equally been unable to secure employment in the formal sector. The trio opted to try their luck in the informal sector. They managed to get some refundable financial assistance from the Youth Development Funds and started a poultry rearing project. During the initial stages of their venture, they almost got discouraged since they experienced uncountable challenges. Nonetheless, their friendship and determination kept them going. As time went by, their efforts paid off. Currently, the three young men are making a decent income from poultry farming. In fact, they have helped to solve the problem of joblessness among many young people in their locality. Their achievement has encouraged many graduates to create jobs in the informal industry. Now, learners are expected to construct sentences using the words identified in the passage above and share their work with peers for review and revision. Thank you so much. See you next time.